Welcome to SVTV for Thursday, December 6th, 2007. I'm Brett Smith. Our first story tonight is about lead paint in toys and how your children may be in danger. Here's Jordan Boyd with the story.
The sudden prevalence of lead in toys for children has been cause for alarm over the recent months. What do you believe is the cause of this prevalence of lead in toys?
I'm just not really sure, and I think it's really sad that we can send people to the moon and we can do extraordinary medical procedures and we can't stay on top of what kind of materials we're using to make children's toys out of. I'm not sure if it's always been there. We're just doing a better job of finding it, and we're just now finding these toys and putting it out there for consumers if it just always existed.
These levels of lead are particularly worrisome due to the fact that children under the age of 6 are much more vulnerable to lead poisoning because their brains and central nervous systems are still being formed. What can happen when children are exposed to lead?
I've just heard lots of various things, just from getting sick to some pretty serious side effects, some long-lasting, long-term damage.
Exposure to lead has been proven to cause reduced IQ, learning disabilities, attention deficit disorders, behavioral problems, stunted growth, impaired hearing, and even kidney damage. Even more seriously, according to the National Safety Council, at high levels of exposure, a child may become mentally retarded, fall into a coma, or even die from lead poisoning. Symptoms of lead poisoning include increased aggressiveness, irritation, interruption in sleeping habits, decrease in eating and activity levels, decrease in previous skill levels, stomach cramps, and headaches. If lead poisoning is suspected, contact a healthcare provider to have your child tested.
This coming Friday, we are going to take the time to sit down and try to look them up on a website and see if they had been recalled.
Cool. This has been Jordan Boyd reporting for Seaman Viking Television.
Be sure to check your children's toys before they play with them, and if you think your children may have lead poisoning, please contact your healthcare provider immediately. Our next story of the evening is about school safety. We'll let Hayden Ford take over to tell you more.
Here at Seaman High School, school safety is a very important issue. Seaman has had big issues come up in the past. One such issue was a bomb threat that happened a few years ago. Seaman has handled these issues with precaution. Although Seaman has handled these issues with great care, they still have to be worried about the growing issue of violence in school. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, school violence has gone up 81% in the last 5 years. 6% of students aged 12 to 18 reported they were afraid of attack at school, and 5% said they were afraid of attack outside of school. With all the new safety precautions, you would think that students would feel safer inside of school. Why don't they? I wanted to find out what safety precautions Seaman takes and if students here felt safe. First, I went to talk to School Resource Officer Todd Stahlbommer and Security Officer Randy Diedrich.
Over the last couple years, with the increase in violence in schools, I think that Seaman does a really good job on their safety drills. I think the school will be better once they get the new addition open, due to where our busing has to drop students off right now. It'll be better when they're able to be dropped on the west side of the building. As far as other schools, in the last couple of years, I think all schools have increased in their safety precautions, but I think Seaman's school district has done a lot better job than a lot of them because they've locked all their doors. The elementary schools, the middle schools have done a really good job on that. And then once the new addition gets open, I think it'll really help here at the high school too.
I went to a training exercise or a lockdown drill at North Fairview Elementary, and it went very well. This was last year, so I know that the elementaries are practicing it as well.
Well, unfortunately, you could have, bad things happen anywhere, whether it's a mall or a school or a business. You just hope that being proactive, talking with your students, if, something may come up where students pass that information on to the right person, pass it on to an adult staff member or somebody, that could be stopped before it would happen.
The National Center for Education Statistics said that 60% of students were afraid of attack inside school and 5% were afraid of attack outside school. I went out to see what the students here at Seaman High School felt like.
Inside school because we got all the students and staff with the security.
I probably feel safer inside school because there's really like strong guys like Officer Stahlbomber.
Well, I feel safer outside of school. My reasoning behind that is probably because I don't know what's going on at school.
Personally, I feel a bit safer outside of school because nobody knows where I live.
Many students have a different opinion of where they feel safe at. As you have seen, Seaman takes a great deal of pride in their school safety. They even have their own school safety procedure guide. As you can see, Seaman has a plan of action for everything you can think of, from tornado to fire to even an earthquake. Seaman looks well prepared for any issues that may come up in the future. Signing off for SVTV, this has been Hayden Ford.
With all the shootings occurring, it is really important our school has a sufficient safety plan. We'll follow up this with a story on the increase of theft around the school. Here's Dustin Bileski with the story.
Theft seems to be a growing problem here at Seaman High School. According to Mrs. Sittenauer, the Crime Stopper sponsor, at least one theft is reported weekly.
In my opinion, if there's one theft, then it's a problem. And so anytime we have something stolen and there's thieves among us, as has been quoted in the past, then we have an issue that we need to deal with.
Crime Stoppers is an organization that helps prevent crime and return stolen property. They use posters to warn students about possible theft and give cash rewards to students who have information about stolen objects in hopes of catching the culprit or at least returning the property to its rightful owner.
The most common item that's stolen are iPods, MP3 players. Occasionally you have some type of jacket or purse, but almost always they're iPods or MP3 players.
Mrs. Sittenauer has some useful tips on how to keep your valuable items from being stolen.
The number one thing that a student can do to protect their property is don't bring your iPod or your MP3 player to school. It really has no educational value to be at school. There's no academic reason for you to have one of those at school, and you're just asking for it to get stolen because at some point in time you're going to accidentally forget to leave it somewhere, and someone's just going to see it as something that they can take and then resell or keep for themselves.
So remember, if you like it, leave it at home or you might lose it. For SVTV, I'm Dustin Bileski.
Wow, well, we really need to keep a better eye out on our stuff while in class. As you all know, the day after Thanksgiving is one of the biggest sale days of the year, and I hit the stores to find out why so many people would shop so early in the morning. What would you do to get a good deal? Would you stand in line for hours on end in 20-degree weather? Well, we hit the lines on Black Friday to see what people had to say. Alright, it's approximately 4 o'clock here this morning at Best Buy. About 20 degrees. We're here with Joe to ask him a few questions about the early morning shopping. And how long have you guys been here?
Me and my brother, we actually went to the bars and just crashed out here around 3 o'clock in the morning Thursday.
And how long, and just what are you guys gunning for? Like, what's the main item you're looking to get this year?
The main thing was a bunch of computers. Me and my brother each got about 2 computers and a laptop.
How long have you been out here waiting this morning?
Oh, since about 1:30, 2, something like that.
And are you kind of disappointed to be almost back at Rod's Cards and Gifts instead of up front?
Actually, I'm pretty excited. Usually we're back there by the stairs, about a mile back.
And what is like the main item you're looking to get this year?
Laptop.
Alright. We're here with Marla and Mindy at about 15 past 4 at CardSmart right outside Best Buy. And how long have you guys been in line?
We were here at 2 something.
Right.
We started clear back there though, so once they got their tents down, we just keep moving up. It's great.
But my toes are frozen.
And what is the main item you guys are looking for this year?
A microwave.
Yeah. And movies.
And movies.
After we hit Best Buy, we talked to a few people at Toys R Us waiting to get the $80 Zune MP3 player.
We're here with Jessica at 4:30 a.m. right outside Toys R Us. And how long have you been here tonight?
We've been here since 2 o'clock.
Wow. And what is like the main thing you're looking to get this year, main item?
The Zune. Yeah.
And are you guys going to have any more stores to go to, or is this just a one trip?
We're going to go to Best Buy and to the mall, so.
Here at Supercuts, right by Toys R Us with Megan and Lisa Struby. And we're just going to ask you a few questions. What are you guys mainly looking to get this year?
The Zune MP3 player.
Yep, that's what we're here for.
And why do you guys feel the need to come so early to shop for Christmas?
Because it could be a limited edition thing, and it's a really good sale price.
Yes, good prices.
Our last stop at Sears, we found Scott Hildebrandt, head of the Booster Club, in line to buy some tools.
At Sears at 5 o'clock in the morning with Scott Hildebrandt, the head of the Booster Club. And how long have you been out here this morning?
Hey, only about 15-20 minutes, so we're pretty good. So we're not doing too bad.
And what are you guys mainly looking to get? What's your main item you're shooting for?
We're after tools and stuff, and a couple camcorders, yeah. So we're doing some tools, so we're doing good.
So as you can see, some people go to impossible lengths to get any kind of deal possible. People sitting out at 3 a.m. since yesterday morning. People coming out here since 2 a.m. this morning. Sitting out in 20-odd degrees weather, cold. No one wants to do that. But people will do anything for a great deal. So for SVTV, this has been Brett Smith. Thank you.
I really don't know how I survived that with the 20-degree weather, but Black Friday is one of the biggest sale days of the year. There are a lot of changes happening in the Seaman district. Here's Christian Gomez with a look at the 10-year plan.
As time passes, things change. Even now, our school district is changing. A while ago, the district school board came up with the 10-year plan, in which the district would close and combine schools. I had the opportunity to interview Fred Patton on the subject, and this is what he had to say.
I think when we set out to come up with the 10-year plan, I think the key was we wanted a plan. Historically, the district has kind of decided we needed to do this or that and then act upon it, but we didn't know where we wanted to be in the future. So the board, we directed the administration to help us come up with a plan that would make our district more efficient and to provide more educational opportunities for our students. Since we put the 10-year plan into effect, I've been asking the administration, why not do it next year? I kept asking, why not do it next year? And the answer I got back was, well, it's going to take time to design it and lay it out and put the curriculum together. And the reason I thought it should be done is for a couple of reasons. One, as you asked earlier, a lot of the staff is coming from the junior highs to staff the 9th grade center, and almost all of that staff is actually coming from Logan. So next year we would have had significant vacancies in the Logan teaching staff. In addition, we have some key personnel such as librarians, counselors, and other positions retiring at the end of this year. So we would have operated 2 junior highs, both with 7th and 8th graders, but with either dramatically reduced staff, or we were going to try to hire people for 1 year knowing that they're going to lose their job at the end of next year. In addition, we would have had a lot of traveling teachers back and forth. So I thought from an education standpoint, it made sense to go ahead and get everybody in one building so you had a full unified staff to help those kids. About a month and a half ago, we met with the architects, and that's what made the final decision for us. We found out we could save a significant amount of money moving the entire project up a year. So that's why we decided in the end to move it up.
I also had the pleasure to interview former school board member and state senator Dave Jackson at his greenhouse.
The strength of Seaman schools has been the fact that we have community schools, grade schools, and also we have 2 junior high schools. That's been the strength of Seaman for all these years. That's what makes us special and apart from others. The closing of 2 of our neighborhood grade schools, or combining them into one, and the closing of a Logan junior high school are just bad ideas, not consistent with excellent education, not consistent with what's good for kids. It's only consistent with possibly the perceived costs of operation, which if they were so concerned with costs of operation, they'd find a way to decrease costs outside of the classrooms, such as reduced administrative overhead, central office administration. I went to Seaman. My father and mother went to Seaman. My kids went to Seaman. My grandkids will go to Seaman. My granddad Jackson served on the Seaman School Board for, I don't know, 16, 20 years. I served on the Seaman School Board for 12 years. We're Seaman people. Our board that's been elected assumes that people, because they've been elected, assume that people are in favor of what they're doing, because I have not talked to anybody, teacher or patron, that's really pleased with that outside of the members of the board. And they really ought to be they ought to be listening to the people that voted them in rather than the administration.
As an end result, we will end up with one high school consisting of an estimated 1,000 students, a middle school consisting of about 500 students, 5 elementary schools consisting of 300 students, and an alternative school consisting of 40 students. If you'd like more information on the subject, go to www.usd345.com and just search 10-year plan. Signing off for SVTV, I'm Christian Gomez.
The 10-year plan will help meet the needs of the district. For our last story of the evening, I headed down to Independence, Kansas to check out our marching Vikes in their last competition of the year. I interviewed our drum majors, Zach Barr, Abby Mosier, and our head drum major, Megan Sells, to see how important Neowalla is to them.
I believe Neowalla is so important just because you go down there, and as drum major, I got a chance to see how the whole band interacts with each other. They go down there thinking, oh, this is a marching band competition, but once you get down there, you start realizing how much of a family you are as a band. I mean, everyone's yelling and stuff about their band, wanting to do the best that they can, and then when they lose, everyone's really disappointed, but everyone's there for each other and stuff. So it's just really cool to see Neowalla make the band a family. So that's why I think it's so important.
Neowalla is really important for band members because it's just as important as state is for football. It's like our band's state. And when we get there, everyone realizes that, and we all come together. And we realize how much of a family we are when we're at Neowalla, and we pretty much give our best show all season that day.
Neowalla is really important to me because we work for like 3 months trying to get everything ready to go, and like at Neowalla you finally get to see how everything goes, and like the second you walk off the field, it's the happiest feeling you've ever had, and you're so pumped and excited, and like everybody's family, and you're all excited and you're so connected and close to everyone, and you just put the best thing you possibly could out on the field, and it's just the greatest feeling to see everybody come together like that.
I also interviewed Jessica Smith, a band member from when the Seaman Band won the Grand Championship of Neowalla Marching Festival.
Neowalla is kind of the last hurrah that you have of the year. You know, you work so hard all year and you have your football games and you have your other competitions, but nothing is Neowalla. It's the last thing that you have to really beef up your skills, and it's kind of the last dance. If you don't do Neowalla, there's no point of doing the rest of the season. Oh gosh, it was insane. Like, everybody stormed the field, and Highland Park was out there with us, but it was surreal not to hear Hutch, because that's what we heard every other year. So it was really good to just hear our name, and nobody was making fun of us anymore, and we had worked so hard, and blood, sweat, and tears had gone into that show. And just the seniors were happy, juniors were happy, the sophomores were happy. I mean, nobody blamed anybody. I've never heard so much singing on a bus in my whole life, but it was an amazing experience, and I'm glad I was a part of it.
But as you can see, band may not be important for some people, but for us, this is a lifestyle. This was our band competition of the year. This was our state championship, so to say. But unfortunately this year, Mr. Staley couldn't make it to Neowalla with us, but he was in our hearts throughout our entire performance. For SVTV, this has been Brett Smith. Thank you. For SVTV, this has been Brett Smith. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure to catch us next semester.